as everyone knows, it was a election night on Tuesday. On Tuesday, it started off looking like Donald Trump was going to be getting his place back in the White House, but over the past couple of days, this crazy election with all these mail-in ballots and everything, it's turned the tides to Joe Biden now leading in most states and possibly being the president-elect very soon.
Yeah, he leads at 3 out of the 5 states remaining, with Alaska and North Carolina. Both right now, Donald Trump is leading. It's kind of been a weird election. Sometimes there's been some states that have been going up to Donald Trump or Joe Biden. We saw Michigan and Wisconsin, but that was due to mail-in ballots or an error made at the polling places. So if you look at that, it's been a very interesting election so far, but I've been interested in it.
And then later on in the show, we'll get more into the election, and we're going to take a look at the map to see the different paths to presidency for both Joe Biden and Donald Trump.
Well, with the election happening this week, last week at RMU, Yorktown Hall had an event where students were able to paint pumpkins and hand turkeys. It was held on Wednesday from 7 to 8:30. CA Andrew was there to run it. And on Thursday, Massey Hall had a spooky movie night at 9 to 11. It was showing Braddock. And Hamilton Hall had Let's Tie-Dye Night together. It was from 7 to 8. It was in the lounge. All materials were provided, and students were just asked to wear a mask.
You're looking for something fun to do this weekend at RMU? Join the Office of Resident Life for some fun painting and good times at the Canvas and Chill event. Also this weekend, the Monroe residents and the Office of Residence Life is hosting a spike ball tournament on the Nicholson front lawn on Saturday, November 7th from 2 to 5 p.m. Find a team and sign up to compete in an entertaining spike ball tournament. If there is any change in the venue, you will be notified by email. Drinks will be provided to keep you hydrated.
Speaking of this week in RMU, this week in Pittsburgh, the University of Pittsburgh and Slippery Rock will be hosting the Division II Men's and Women's Cross Country Regionals. It will be happening all weekend and all weekend at the Coopers Lake Campground. And the last days of Haunted Pittsburgh Downtown are happening this weekend from today till Sunday. Walk down downtown Pittsburgh with a spooky twist. It starts at 7. And the first days of Sticks and Stones Christmas opens house. Stephanie McLean will also be there demonstrating, weather permitting, and the fun starts at 10. It is free.
There are a lot of different shows that RMU TV has to offer. You can see RMU Live on Mondays at 1 o'clock, RMU Extra at 7. On Wednesday, you can catch Sports Talk in the Berg, along with RMU Tonight at 5 p.m., alternating every other week. And then on Thursday night, watch Colonial Sports Center at 9:30. A lot has changed in the race for the White House since we last had our election night coverage, as Joe Biden has made a comeback in the crucial battleground states of Georgia and Pennsylvania. Stay tuned for more later in the show to see how the rest of the race will pan out. Coming up after the break, Austin Bechtold will give us a look at the Electoral College map and show the different pathways for former Vice President Joe Biden to become president-elect and President Donald Trump to retain his job in the White House. So stay tuned for more right here on RMU Focus.
Roll over. Chant 5-5. All right.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique.
And your mother and... I am totally a hot person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
Welcome back to RMU Focus. Austin Bechtold is in our map studio to give us an update on the state of the election and the Electoral College. Austin, what do you have for us?
Thank you, Ethan. And right now, the race for the White House, as you mentioned earlier, on election night, Tuesday night, really looked like it was in the favor of President Trump, as we even had Dr. Anthony Moretti come on as one of our panelists and be able to talk about that. But now, as the map is starting to show, it is swaying in the favor of Joe Biden. As you can see, just some critical states that President Trump would need to win to be able to maintain the White House. Let's first start off with Georgia. Georgia right now, 99% of the ballots are in. Biden has now taken a lead over President Trump just, I believe, this morning, only a few hours ago. Biden ended up taking the lead over Trump. The percentage, though, in Georgia right now, 0.03 is the difference in the amount of votes. About 1,500 votes is the difference right now in Georgia. And the Secretary of State of the state of Georgia has announced that there will be a recount later on to be able to make sure that their numbers are correct. Another state that we're looking at is the great state we're in right now, Pennsylvania, which at first also was in favor of President Trump by about 14 points on election night. But with more mail-in ballots coming in that originally analysts were projecting we're going to go to Joe Biden. Looks like that is the case at the moment. He has now taken over the lead in Pennsylvania with 98% of the vote in, 49.5% for Joe Biden, 49.35%. It's that slim of a margin, 0.15% is the difference right now. That evens up to about 9,000 or so votes at the moment right now. Another state we're looking at right now that we haven't really seen many votes that have come in yet is North Carolina. It has been red throughout the entire election night coverage on Tuesday and into today. And in North Carolina with 94% of the vote in, which has been stagnant for a while now. President Trump holds a 1.4% lead on Joe Biden, 50.1% to 48.7%. His lead is about 7,600 votes currently at the moment. Another state we're looking at is Nevada. And with Nevada, a lot of the votes really have not been counted yet. And the president right now, with Joe Biden in the lead, is contesting that a lot of people from the state of Nevada voted, but they no longer lived in the state. They moved out of the state either this year or beforehand and still cast a ballot registered in that state. With 86% of the vote in, Joe Biden is up by 1.6%. The difference is kind of a decent amount, 49.76% to 48.13% in terms of Joe Biden. And another state that President Trump thinks he's going to swing, that a lot of news outlets have already called in favor of the former vice president, is Arizona. We have it in blue here on our map. Arizona right now, it's a lot tighter of a race than a lot of people were projecting at least a couple days ago. Currently 90% of the vote is in. Biden is up 50% compared to President Trump's 48.6% of the total vote. 1.4% is the difference in that state. And you've seen that about 58% of the recent tallies of vote came in for President Trump. And he's been saying that his whole campaign has basically been outlining that more votes, if they come in at that percentages, and if President Trump is able to obtain that amount of percentage, about 58% of the vote, with the rest of the mail-in ballots, about 10% that still have to come in, that he thinks that he has a realistic shot of being able to win Arizona. But frankly, Ethan and Colby, if he doesn't win Pennsylvania and if he doesn't win Georgia, and with Joe Biden taking over with about 99 and 98% of the vote in, Joe Biden's going to be the next president. And even though it might come down to President Trump pushing some legal actions and really taking this to the courts, it might not matter, guys.
Yeah, that's right, Austin. I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see how this map will turn out over the next coming days. Hopefully it gets decided before the weekend is what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, that was really been interesting with seeing the states that Joe Biden was able to flip and that Donald Trump now is in contention to flip with Arizona. But Austin was talking about election night, which was covered by Century Media. And for the latest news, arts, and entertainment and sports going around campus, be sure to check out RMU Century Media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram to stay up to date on all things happening around campus. You can check out the website at rmucenturymedia.com. When we come back, RMU's TV own John Hanna will be talking about the election. Stay tuned. Stay more with us.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
What are you doing in there?
What's that?
I wouldn't do that. What are you doing? What are you looking for?
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
Let's go.
you'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes.
Make a plan today.
Welcome back to RMU Focus. John Hanna is joined by Nick Hedrick and Austin Bechtel to talk about everything the election. John and guys, what do you got for us?
Well, thank you, Colby. Austin.
It's good to be over here with you guys.
Nice to see you.
It's always an honor to be focused on RMU Focus.
Yeah, it's really great to have you over here. And I want to ask you guys first, what are your initial reactions and initial thoughts to the presidential race that really wasn't election night, it's become election week?
I think it's what we've all expected. I think we knew that one candidate would jump out to a higher lead than the other, and then the other would slowly come back. I think it was just wondering which one it would be. It turned out, I mean, Tuesday night when we left after our election night coverage, we all said it looks like Trump did it again.
Yeah.
But,
And
you
these
know,
last 2 days, we
once
learned
the
maybe he
mail-in
has
ballots
not.
started
because
rolling in. They're really rolling in now, and I'm not sure when this is going to end, because you saw it yesterday. Nevada hasn't really been counting votes.
Right.
Alaska, even I know Alaska's most likely going red, but they haven't been counting any votes whatsoever.
And you have to consider the recounts already. A lot of these states are already had it implemented that they'd be doing recounts. Others, they're within the margins that they have that deem counts for a recount. So this might not end for a very long time.
You've seen just states like Wisconsin and states like Pennsylvania where President Trump is just trying to contest the election any bit possible. Really trying to get lawyers involved at this point. It looks like Georgia's definitely going to get a recount. Who knows what's going on in North Carolina? Lots of votes have not been counted there in a while.
There's so many states that are so close that I think, whether it be through legal action or recounts, that I don't know if they'll flip, but this will definitely drag on the election much longer than just the Tuesday night it usually is.
So are there any surprises at this point from either Tuesday night to today that you have that you kind of weren't expecting?
I'd say the closeness of it, because obviously we saw in the pre-polls that Joe Biden was supposed to dominate in states like Wisconsin.
The the poll that said that Joe Biden was up 17%.
Yeah, so I guess
ABC.
just the closeness. I know you don't necessarily always trust those pre-polls, but just the closeness and how tight this race is, even obviously, 3 days after election night?
I think we've all learned between these last two elections that we could take those pre-election polls and throw them in the garbage can because they don't seem to be very accurate. But like John said, it's just been very close in a lot of states. Even states where those pre-election polls said Biden would win by astronomical amounts, they've been very close. Obviously, they're still counting ballots in some of those states, so maybe it will be a bigger gap than what we see now. But I think definitely it wasn't as we expected it to play out.
Right, and you see the margins, just like I outlined on the map. Arizona, 1.4%. Same thing with North Carolina. Nevada is around the same same lead. Pennsylvania, only by a few thousand votes, if that.
You predicted it Tuesday that Erie County could be a major shifter in the way Pennsylvania trends. Erie County switched to blue yesterday, I believe
County
it was.
looks like it might be the reason why Joe Biden can win the state of Pennsylvania. Do you think, guys, that President Trump has any chance?
I think so. Once those recounts happen, I talked about it. You might see a state switch. You might see one of these big Michigan, Wisconsin, who had that strange influx of votes.
Yeah.
So you'll wonder if once they recount, they'll find some phony ballots almost.
Well,
and those do.
I think
back
it
to
still
red.
comes down to Pennsylvania could be a major player because we don't know what's going on in Nevada, as I've heard it referred to more this last 2 days than my entire life.
As I've heard today.
Arizona, they initially called for Biden. I think still a couple sources have it called for Biden, but now some are saying, hang on a minute, the race is still close. So if Trump manages to swing those two, Pennsylvania becomes a key factor yet again, and Biden taking the lead there is huge then.
Right. Do you guys think that ultimately it'll come down to a big legal battle with just how close these numbers are? Is it going to come down to the courts? Is that what it's going to come down to right now?
I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an inner worker of the election process. I don't know if they're going to have grounds to run with any of this or not.
Yeah.
That sounds like something people much more educated and smarter than I am are going to have to deal with. And I think we're just going to have to sit and commentate and wait and see what happens.
Yeah, I think, like Nick said, we're not smart enough. We're smart, but we're not that smart. We're not smart enough to know, the whole intricacies of legal battle. We're comm majors, not law majors.
So give me your quick prediction for how long you think that this can go. Just a quick guess. Another week, a month.
I think next week we'll know for sure. I really was hoping we'd know by today, but I think next week we'll have an idea, a pretty clear idea, if not an answer.
I believe I saw earlier today that Nevada is going to be, I think, finished counting by like the 12th. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure I saw the 12th in Nevada linked somewhere. So I think next week, like Nick said, is going to be when we figure it out.
Yeah.
Figure out the votes, but once the recount's happening, I think that, this entire thing could drag on until inauguration.
That would be crazy, but I think it's got to be over by Thanksgiving, right?
I mean,
you would think. Before the turkey's cut, we're going to know who's president.
You think so, but 2020 is weird enough already.
I've never been stressed at Thanksgiving, but that'll be a surefire way to make that turkey not as enjoyable.
Nick, John, thank you guys for coming on. We're going to send it back over to Ethan.
Thank you, guys. Are you a passionate RMU Colonial sports fan? We have just the place for you. Colonial Sports Network is your home for everything Robert Morris Athletics. From Joe Walton Stadium to the UPMC Event Center, North Athletic Complex, and over on the island. The writers and video crew at CSN will keep you up to date with the latest news and highlights as RMU makes their transition to the Horizon League, MAC, and the Big South. Coming up after the break, Luke Yost, Michael Schuley, and Nick Hederick will be giving us their favorite memorable moments here at Robert Morris and why they want to Bobby go. We'll see you back here in 2 minutes right here on RMU Focus.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
What are you doing in there?
What's that?
I wouldn't do that. What are you doing? What are you looking for?
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
Let's go.
you'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes.
Make a plan today.
Welcome back to RMU Focus. Michael Schuley, Luke Yost, and Nick Hederick are here to talk about their worst moments here at Robert Morris. Guys, take it away.
That's such strong wordage.
Yeah, worst moments. I don't know if I'd necessarily classify it as that, but guys, what are some reasons that the three of us as seniors are ready to hashtag Bobby Go? Luke Yost, you start first.
My biggest gripe has to be Romo's. When we first got
R.I.P.
When we first got here, Romo's was great.
Pour one out for Romo's.
Pour one out for Romo's. We had, first of all, my biggest thing is like water. Like I'm trying to get a lot of water, right?
Right.
And like at Romo's, you can just go fill up a water bottle at Romo's, no big deal, right? Now the only place you can't get water at Romo's and like a fountain, like you have to go to the cafe and do that, right? It's ridiculous. And then they changed it now, like the meal plan situation. Again, I commute, so I don't have a meal plan, but like whole meal plan situation is different now. It's a wild place.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll agree with Romo's. And I'd like to preface before we get into this that I have enjoyed my time here thoroughly.
I have
but there
too.
are a couple things I'd really like to talk about, including the clogged sink in my apartment that has not been unclogged by maintenance despite a nice phone call for 2 weeks. I'd just like to know what the deal with that is.
Nice.
Mike Schuley, you're an esteemed man. What do you have?
Oh man, like you, I've enjoyed the people at this place. I love the people. I love you guys. My biggest gripe, I would say, is some of my classes have not been challenging at all whatsoever.
That's a problem to you?
Yeah,
for example, I told my professor yesterday that I had signed up for her one class, and she looks at me and goes, "Ooh, that's going to be really slow for you." That was my kind of gripe. And on top of that, I'll expand upon that. I feel like some of the people put in places for to kind of teach those classes shouldn't be there and are incapable of teaching those classes to the fullest
It's
extent.
not the right fit to be in that position.
Mike Schuley firing from the hip today.
As always, man.
Wow.
As always.
Wow.
That's how this usually goes. One of my big things that I feel necessary to talk about is, you know, when the Kmart closed down on University, there was always conversation of like, what should Robert Morris buy that property? They didn't. It's now a plaza, but
it's an Aldi's.
It's an Aldi's. It's a big lot. I'm not sure what else.
It's a shopping center.
Every place that I'm not going to go to.
Exactly.
Wow.
But the one thing that Robert Morris has always talked about is building hockey and like let's get more people to hockey games. And like we've all worked hockey games. We've all seen how many people are there on a Saturday afternoon to watch men's or women's hockey.
Well,
it's empty.
One of the issues with that too is the property of the island itself.
Why not have a show run there?
It's built on a former dump.
Yeah.
So what are they going to do? Have 2 RMU hockey rinks? Do you know how hard it is to sell that property?
I'm not saying you should build a hockey rink. But I'm saying is
put a Topgolf there.
Put something there.
There's a Topgolf like 30 minutes away.
That would make more fun. It's 30 minutes away. People won't drive to the island to watch hockey, but they would definitely go to Topgolf if it was on University Boulevard.
I think they should tear the whole thing down and just put up one big Chipotle. The fact that I have to go 15 minutes to Robinson to get some Chipotle, or maybe even a Blaze Pizza.
I gotta hang on a minute.
Because listen here, back to the food. The new food plan, genius play by them. Genius play by Parkhurst and RMU. The all you can eat with the smaller plates, definitely smaller portion sizes. Romo's is dead. It was a genius play by them because I'm definitely not getting as much bang for my buck as I used to. But it's under the guise of unlimited. Go ahead.
I want to talk about, again, preface, love my time here. My whole reasoning for being quiet was that I didn't want to come off as too critical. But there's one thing that I can't excuse, and that is the Get Ready ad where there's a shuttle going downtown.
Oh, that sucks.
Just cruising.
I'd agree with that.
I've never seen a shuttle go downtown.
I know they have the one that goes to like Point Park or whatever.
Do they still use that ad campaign?
I don't know. The fact of the matter is that it exists. It exists. As someone who was honked at a record-setting 6 times on his way to downtown Pittsburgh during his first excursion there and had to learn the hard way that the roads of Pittsburgh are not comparable to the roads of Erie, Pennsylvania, I would have liked to take the shuttle, maybe have a better idea where we're going, but that was not an option. And the fact that it was played off as an option is a little weird to me. It's a little misleading.
Yeah, and unfortunately, guys, that's all we have time for this one. Reasons we're ready to Bobby Go now. Let's toss it back to Ethan and Colby.
Thanks, guys, for that interesting little topic. Ethan, we're still freshmen here. They're clearly seniors. You know, I heard the meal plan was better last year, but how have you been feeling so far?
I mean, I'm just glad I just didn't have to experience that like shift between the old meal plan and then now this new worse meal plan of what I've been hearing. So I'm just glad I didn't have to experience it. I mean, yeah, I have to agree with the guys here. It's a lot smaller portions, a lot smaller everything there. So I can see where they're coming from. Well, can't get enough of hearing Colby and I speak all the time? Then check out RMU Radio. You can find popular shows such as Crunch Time, hosted by Ethan and Colby, Baldwin and the Berg, and Where's the News. You can listen to RMU Radio by downloading the Radio FX app on your smartphone or other devices to support the student-run media here at Robert Morris. If you can't catch the live shows, download the Podbean app to listen to the podcast version of the show. Coming up after the break, there will be a new segment here on RMU Focus called Ethan's Music. Stay tuned to find out what artist I feature on this week's installment. Here's a hint. He's an up-and-comer. Stick with us.
Roll over. Chance high five. All right.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique. And your mother and...
I am totally a hot person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here.
Wait.
What?
I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Stand is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
Welcome back to RMU Focus. Next week, the RMU Yorktown Kitchen will be having a pumpkin eating contest. It will be on Saturday. Come test your speed against other students so you can eat 2 slices of pumpkin pie faster. And finally, on Wednesday from 5 to 9, Kappa Kappa Psi will be hosting a month of music. It will be at Nicholson Rotunda. They will be educating on the month of music.
It's time for a new segment here on RMU Focus called Ethan's Music. This week, I will be breaking down Kid Leroy's new deluxe album, Savage. It came out today. It features Machine Gun Kelly, Young Boy Never Broke Again, and Marshmello. It's his latest piece of work. It's titled Savage. This is Leroy's deluxe album version that dropped in July. Some of the features are Machine Gun Kelly, Young Boy Never Broke Again, and Marshmello. Just overall a very good album. Nice little 6-song little album there.
Well, Ethan, we got a little bit of time left in the show. This weekend, I'll be going to that pumpkin pie eating contest because I love pumpkin pie. I think it'd be pretty fun. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going to the 6A Whippeal Championship game tonight at Monterelli Stadium between North Allegheny and Central Catholic, so it should be a great time watching some high school football once again.
Yeah, my alma mater, Penn Trafford, is in the 6A semifinals against Pine Richland, so good luck to the Warriors. Hopefully they can pull this one out.
Yeah, we'll have to see there. So I want to thank all of you guys for tuning into RMU Focus today. For Colby Sherwin, I'm Ethan Morrison. We will see you next week here on RMU Focus.